This is James Nicholson from the Birmingham Wrestling Complex, and you're watching the Matburn.
From Studio G in Alabaster, welcome to Matburn.
Today, we got James Nicholson from Vestavia Club Wrestling with us, Old Dominion wrestler, Iowa State champ wrestler, and we're going to talk to him about myself. Brandon Womack here is going to ask him some questions about growing up in Iowa, wrestling in Old Dominion, going from high school coaching in Tennessee and ended up in Vestavia. But James, it's good to see you. How you been? Enjoying this quarantine going on?
Man, I'm going stir crazy. Yeah, I'm running out of things to do. I think I chopped all the firewood already.
Oh man, yeah. Brandon was just telling me he's up near Minneapolis for his quarantine up there, so he's not enjoying the summertime weather we're having down here in Alabama.
No, it's still pretty chilly. It's supposed to get to freezing here the next couple of days. So, enjoying. It's like 50 right now. I'm enjoying the heat while it lasts up here, and just trying to make the most of it. Get outdoors while you can, because there isn't a lot of stuff to do during this. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What are you doing up in Minneapolis?
Actually came out here from college to visit my girlfriend's family, and her sister just had a baby. And then the quarantine thing happened. We were planning a weekend trip, and everything kind of shut down. And her dad was sick, so we ended up getting stuck here, not traveling for a couple weeks. So just getting school kicked back up, and we're hanging out here. But we're on a farm, though. There's plenty to do. There's work to be done, four-wheelers to ride, so we're having a good time.
There you go.
Yeah.
I actually got to Iowa, so I'm not down in Alabama, Greg.
I
I'm
got
in
you.
Des Moines right now. Yep. I've been hanging out with family and catching up with them, putting the nieces and nephews through some boot camp stuff.
There you go. Get some off season and get some freestyle.
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, I haven't really been involved in Alabama wrestling as much these last couple of years, and so I've heard about you a little bit and how you came to be down in Birmingham area. But I was just wanting to start. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started with the Birmingham Wrestling Club.
Well, I fell into it actually. So I knew Christian Staler. Christian Staler beat me up every single day at ODU. He was a redshirt senior when I was a true freshman. So I was the guinea pig that I was the poor soul that he tortured on a daily basis. And so I knew him, and I was coaching up at Baylor School. I enjoyed it, loved it, loved the kids, but I was just looking for something of my own. So this opened up, and I interviewed for it. Fell right into it. So originally they gave it to Gerald Carr over that runs Storm Wrestling in South Georgia.
Yep.
He has 15 years of experience running club wrestling. Obviously, someone that's experienced in the club world. And I was the backup plan. So the backup plan came on through and ended up with the facility, and just been chugging along ever since.
That's awesome. Could you tell us a little bit more about your background, where you came from? And I hear you're from Iowa. You had a lot of success in high school. You had success in college. You're a two-time All-American. All of that. Just give us a little background, I guess, for us that don't know as much about you. Just tell us a little more about yourself, how you got to ODU, how you got to college,
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
Well, I started wrestling. I started wrestling in 6th grade. My older brother started wrestling. He got recruited by the wrestling coaches because he was a football player. He says, "Hey, wrestling will keep you in shape." And he comes to me and says, "Hey, you'll be really good at this." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm just a little feisty thing, a ball of energy that can't sit still in the classroom. And of course, fell in love with it right away. I hated losing. I think that's what drove me to so much success. I didn't like winning and being in front of people as much. I just hated losing more than anything in the world. So that hatred of losing kind of drove me to just stare down that tunnel and just nonstop go. So I kind of put the foot on the gas when I was a sophomore. I was a 3-sport athlete all the way up until freshman year, and then switched and went all in on wrestling, and kind of paid off. Gambled on myself, and ended up out at Old Dominion University. And how I ended up out there, Willie Gatson, he was a Kyvan Gadsden's father, who passed away a little bit ago. He was good friends with my trainer in high school, and he put in a good word. Lee Pritz was the assistant coach at Old Dominion at the time. Lee Pritz is with Arizona State right now.
Yep.
And he kind of said one thing that really, it's kind of bittersweet right now. He said, "Do you want to be another name on the wall and go to Iowa State or Iowa, or do you want to come all the way across the country and be a part of something great and upcoming?" And that kind of stuck with me. And that was really one of the reasons why I committed all the way out there. Went out and wrestled at Old Dominion. I All-American when I was a freshman, All-American when I was a senior, and wrestled, coached there for 3 or 4 years afterwards, and decided to jump into some high school club stuff.
That's really awesome. Sounds like you had your little gauntlet there and made it through. But can you tell us a little bit about what do you think's going on with Old Dominion now? They kind of made the decision here recently, and I mean, I personally have my opinion on it, but you came from that program, you graduated, you had a lot of success, you kind of were a start to that program. You did exactly what you wanted to do. You went out there, you started the building blocks of something special, right? You put in the work, you had the success, and you're hoping to see that continue, right? You're a part of the start. So tell us a little bit about your opinions on that.
So the Wood Civic drop in the program, I think it's just a smack in the face to the wrestling community. I won't filter or censor myself on it. I'm bitter about it. What we've done for the campus, what the coaching staff, what the alum, what the boosters, what everybody has done for that program, we are on the up and up. We had consistent All-Americans. Just regardless of the wrestling accolades, let's just completely ignore the wrestling accolades completely, because obviously they don't even acknowledge wrestling as a sport. So the the academic side, ODU's GPA last year was a 3.19 average, 25th in the country. We've had an Elite 89 award winner. For those of you that don't know what an Elite 89 award winner is, out of all divisions, NCAA Division 1, 2, and 3, they pick one person for this award. Tristan Warner won that award twice at ODU. And the academic side alone of what Coach Martin has built and what the staff has reinforced. I mean, we had people going and checking on class. We didn't have to do that. We went above and beyond as a coaching staff, as an alumni, to make sure ODU prospered. Coach Martin shows up sometimes at 8 in the morning and doesn't leave till 8 at night. He has 12-hour days. He works 80 hours a week. I don't think that Coach Martin doesn't know anything else but wrestling. He loves it. He lives, eats it, breathes it, wakes up. He's all in on wrestling. And the coaching staff there too. Coach Dale Thomas. Coach Dale Thomas was they had the best recruiting class this year out of the entire country. They had 9 top 250 prospects. Then you got Kevin Beasley. Kevin Beasley, I helped coach. He was an All-American for ODU as a junior a couple years ago. So, and then the amount of time and effort, I had a direct relationship with the volunteer assistant. The club coach, Lenny Richardson. Lenny Richardson was an All-American in 2015, I believe. And, Chris McCarty. Those are 2 guys that I really had an impact on. And I said, hey, guys, when I was on my way out, I was like, guys, you want to know why Iowa, you want to know why these other programs are successful? Is because when a quality wrestler comes through, they stick around for a little bit. They get their graduate degree. They go on and get their master's degree. And then they reinvest into the program. They give their college their time. That's one of the most valuable commodity of this world is time. You can't put a value on time. That's like some people's value on time is $1 million a minute. Some people's value on their time is something minimum wage. So that you can't get back, and that investment that all those alumni, all those coaches gave, it kind of was what was it for?
Yeah.
This was planned, I think. It's frustrating though. So
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be really hard. I know personally, this year was my senior year, and they kind of took nationals away, and that was hard for me, kind of coming to terms with that and all of that. But I can't imagine, the guys that have invested into ODU as a wrestling program, into the culture that you guys have built, that the program has built, and just like you said, it wasn't just a program. It just wasn't the coaches. It was the athletes that you're bringing in. It was really a culture. It was a lifestyle that you guys instilled and really believe in. And, you have this network of people that just pour their hearts and souls into the program, and that's awesome. But I really, I wonder what that really means for all the guys that still have another year or two to compete. Because for me, it took away my senior year, but that was something that was kind of out of my control. And it happened to everybody. It wasn't just our program, right? So for something like this, to them yet drop another program, I know it was Eastern Michigan, a year or two ago. And
we have some recruits. We had some guys that we pulled from there too.
I know.
They're all of a sudden they're a part of another program that was put on the chopping block. So.
Yeah. What do you think it means for those guys? Have you, connected with anybody? Have you had any conversations? I'm curious just because I'm invested in the sport. I love the sport. I think it's terrible. I think, what's going on, we should be growing the sport, and, people think it's all about money, not necessarily about everything else. And wrestling kind of gets the short end of the stick on that one, but just kind of hear your opinion on that. Yeah.
So those guys, man, what I'm feeling and what they're feeling, holy cow. I just imagine your entire world turned upside down. I mean, first off, you lost your year. I don't even know how you're still even talking wrestling right now. I mean, if it was me, I would have dug myself in a hole and like, this is ridiculous. No, I mean, or went all freestyle mode and just moved to Russia or something. That's a big deal to lose your senior year. That's something that you dedicated your entire life to, your entire sport career, however many times you stepped in the wrestling room. What'd you think about?
Yeah.
Every single time you stepped in the Cornell room, what'd you think about? You thought about winning a national title. You thought about performing for your team. You thought about taking care of your team. And for these guys to have that ripped away from them, especially with everything that's going on, with where they're looking for stability or they're looking for, hey, they just lost their year, and then all of a sudden it's just this is worse than getting the carpet ripped out from underneath you or kicked down the stairs, in my opinion. Yeah. This is something that, I mean, I really hope that ODU goes above and beyond in taking care of their athletes in that way, mentally, because what right. That does to them. I mean, a lot of these guys, they're dealing with stuff, but they probably suppressed a lot of emotion over those years, and then this happens. Goodness. I know when I graduated, it takes a lot. I mean, this up here, it's your biggest asset or your worst enemy. If it's working for you, it's, man, you're doing great, you're chugging along. But when adversity hits in multiple sequences, it's almost like a KO. It feels like sometimes for these guys. I hurt for them. I mean, I can't even think about what they're going through because you can't even wrap your brain around it.
Yeah, it's really hard. I don't even I can't imagine it myself. I had my senior season taken away, and that really sucked. But to have to change schools, to have to, and some of them probably won't, is the sad part. Some of them won't want to. People are going to struggle. Wrestling is a really hard sport, and people struggle every day. And to pretty much the way I see it is, I was at Cornell, and if I was to have to go anywhere else forcibly, you're taking away my family, my friends, my network, my everything. I mean, I lived at Cornell for 6 years. That was my home. I spent a fourth of my life there.
Exactly.
And I don't think, they don't really take these things into account, the culture that you're building, just the awesome opportunity that you're having for kids as they come up. And I read an article on it, and I mean, it really just broke my heart. I don't know what to think about it, just to be honest. It's just really heartbreaking. I can't imagine myself in that situation. I really do feel for the team, the alumni, and all you guys. That's really, really hard. But hopefully I saw a lot of stuff out there, people trying to fight for it and, really petition, get up raise money and all this stuff, I hope, they can really lend an ear and listen, because there's more to that program than just even the accolades and all of that stuff. It's really a culture, and you see it in all the people that come from there. I've been around wrestling a lot, and there's some good guys, so hopefully they'll be able to figure that out.
Right. As Brandon said, there's petitions going around. I know there's one on change.org. That's one of the bigger ones. And we're going to try to put a link to that on our broadcast of this. So we're also curious, is there any recourse? Is there any recourse for this, to the university? And what can they do to help the wrestlers out? I mean, is there any kind of recourse for them?
Stay in the know. You follow it. Share it. The more you share it, the more publicity we have on it, the more petitions, the more people that sign it, the more people that we know that will care. I emailed the AD and what can we do to save the program? And he kind of gave me a number that was just out of reach. He said we would need a $25 million endowment, an immediate $25 endowment to reinstate the program. I'm like, how did we get put on the chopping block without any knowledge? I mean, from what it sounds like, or from what I gathered from the coaching staff, we were blindsided.
Really?
Yeah, it was, there was no warning signs. I haven't been involved with ODUs. I haven't been to the campus in probably about a year. I went to the MAC the last year, but from what it sounded like, we had the support from the AD with the volleyball facility that was being built. That was to be shared with wrestling. Our facility is actually connected to that building. So we were sharing costs with volleyball. To be honest, that $1 million deficit that they saved by cutting the program, that was going to pay for some of the volleyball stuff. It's stay in the know. Obviously, it comes down to money. Donate if you can, and don't donate to the change.org. All that does is it helps advertise it. Wait for a fundraiser to come around. I haven't put anything together. Some of the alums have gotten together. Some of the boosters have gotten together. I'm waiting on instructions on where to go from one of the boosters first. So first off, obviously we need to find out what we need. Obviously this is still fresh. So, but stay in the know. That's what I'm saying. Follow someone that's passionate about the sport. I mean, Jason Bryant, follow him. He's an ODU alum. He's the voice of NCAA wrestling and Olympic wrestling. He runs the Matt Talk podcast. He does it for several universities throughout the country. He's our biggest voice. I even tried to get an interview with the AD and Jason Bryant set up. So I was like, I cashed in my Hall of Fame token. I was like, hey, this is my one favor I ask. Make sure the wrestling community, I want to make sure we're represented. I want to make sure that we have someone that knows how to ask the right questions, someone that's a journalist that knows how to dig and find, some discrepancies or whatnot. I want some answers. I want to know how long this was in the mix. I want to know if this was planned. Obviously they had a 6-month study, so they've asked these questions before, but why weren't we notified? Because stuff could have been done. The wrestling community, it's a family. They rally whenever something happens, and a little bit of hey, you need to get you need to get your car in gear and put your pedal to the metal. I mean step it up. But we were said, hey, you guys are good. You guys are doing such a great job. Keep up the good work. And then all of a sudden, so stay in the know.
Well, we'll try to keep it out there as much as we can, try to get the word out. So, and let us know if there's any kind of fundraisers that come up. We'll try to push that too.
I will. Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. So I guess one thing I was kind of going to ask, you're a part of Alabama Wrestling now. You're down in Vestavia, helping. You came from Iowa, which I feel like is a lot different, at least culture of wrestling. I've been to Iowa, New York, PA. It is very different. What do you think about Alabama wrestling, and how has it been since you've started coaching? How is it different, and if so, how? And how do you like the club scene so far, running your own club?
Man, the club scene's fun. I've had a coach ask me, what's my favorite age group? My favorite age group is the youngest, the little pipsqueaks, the 4 to 7-year-olds. I have the most fun with them because one, it's about fun at that time. It's about them learning their bodies before trying to control somebody else. The club scene's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Any athlete that comes through the door, the sky's the limit. And where do they start? Everybody starts in a different place, and not everybody that comes through that door is a world beater. Obviously we're fighting. You got football and baseball you compete with, so a lot of the athletes are already plugged from the squad. So, but you do have a few trickle through. As for the program, man, we're doing well. Obviously the Vestavia wrestling, or the Vestavia High School, we had a really good showing at state this year. The impact that these clubs the impact that these clubs have had on the Birmingham area, on Alabama, it's like starting up the internet.
Right.
It's you start up a club, all of a sudden people are like, oh, what's that? When I first started, even in Iowa, I was known for wrestling, but when I started, I was like, what's wrestling? That's stupid. It's like, I'm not doing that. And then all of a sudden I tried it out and I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. It's getting the kids in the room is the hardest. Getting them to try something that they don't see on a regular basis, getting them out of their comfort zone, that's the hardest part. But I like the club scene. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, actually.
That's awesome.
You got a great feeder on there into the Vestavia school system as well. So it's a big story
Absolutely.
program, very successful.
Yes,
How's T. Adams? Is he as a presence there with the club? Is he helping very well? Because he's a great coach.
He's a great coach. He's got his hands full. He does help with the club. He helps get me into the elementary schools. He's a good voice. He's a good backer. He does a lot with the high school program. That's where I think he had 80 something kids on the roster this past year. So he had his hands full. Whenever I call him or need him or ask him or need something, or he's there. He's an asset for Xavier for sure. So.
But here now, do you have your kids wear the little bathrobes as well?
No, sir, I do not. No. That's hey, I like that idea though. I might have to go and buy some fabric and make some bathrobes.
So one thing I was going to ask is I heard about the Birmingham Wrestling Club and how elite, I guess, and how new and just how awesome it was, and haven't had the chance to go down there and see it or hear anything about it. Tell us a little bit about that. How what the club is like.
The Birmingham Wrestling Complex.
Yeah, the complex. Yeah.
Yeah, the club, the complex is state of the art facility. One donor dropped a pretty penny on it, and they went all out. They had Resolite mats, the 1.5 inch thickness mats. We got 4,500 square foot of mat space with a hockey style rink. We got 2 garage bay doors that open up to it. You got a 25-foot ceiling, so we got ropes there too. We have a couple boxing bags too, a bag rack put up. We have an MMA program in there as well with the women's box fit program. The place it's being ramped up. The kids love competing there. It's a nice, clean place. There's a good big lobby for the parents to sit and work or sit and handle whatever they need to do while their kids are getting a good workout in. It's a pretty nice place, and then it's right off of 31, just north of 65. Great location to get off of the interstate. You're less than a quarter mile away from an interstate, and in a good prime location. So the place is set up. They made sure they did their research when they were looking for a location, and they did it right. And they put us right in the middle of Birmingham, or not in the middle, but right in the heart of Alabama wrestling. So which is Birmingham. Birmingham has the biggest scene, I think. Huntsville obviously does, and other places have been growing, but it's they did a pretty good job setting it up. Sounds like I had to call you and get you down for a camp, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely enjoy that. I haven't had a lot of opportunities to make my way down there, but now, graduated, I'm actually moving down closer. I'm actually moving to Tennessee. I got a job offer there. So I'm trying to get back involved in wrestling and definitely kind of do my part. I'm actually from up near the Huntsville area in
Nice.
Scottsboro. And one thing when we were younger, we didn't have the opportunity to really make it to a lot of clubs and stuff like that. You could go down toward Lake Thompson, down toward Vestavia, Birmingham area, which is 2.5 hours or whatever for me. And I ended up going to Arturo Holmes in Georgia. So most of my childhood I trained in Georgia. A little bit of the politics kind of kept me from staying in Alabama and a lot of the stuff that kind of went on. But yeah, I think it's really awesome what you guys are doing down there and how it's growing and getting new facilities and all that. And that's really what's going to help Alabama wrestling grow. You're talking about Birmingham being the hot spot. One, it's population wise, but I think, we have a bunch of clubs down there and a lot of opportunity for kids to easily access these training opportunities, which is really, really cool.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Oh, well, great. It's been great having you on. Like I said, we'll keep up with the Old Dominion, and I want to go see the complex too.
Come on, guys. Let me know. You guys got my phone number?
Yeah, for sure. If you guys have anything going on this summer, once everything kind of clears up with all the craziness that's going on during the quarantine and social distancing, hopefully I can make my way down there and hang out. I'd love to do some camps or just be a part of it. I definitely want to give back to the community that gave me so much through the years. So hopefully I'll be able to get back involved in wrestling in some way.
Absolutely. I'd love to have you down.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for having you. It's nice to meet you, and hopefully we'll see each other in the future.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Greg. Thanks,
Take it out.
Brandon. You too.